From the flashy over the top fight before, the normal development
You know what? I want to talk about some games today. Though I wonder which game I'll... Ow! What the heck? What? Huh? Why this game? You know why. Wait, what do you mean? In the end, I don't think this game deserves that much hate. It did a lot for being the first Dragon Ball game to be released stateside. Oh. Dragon Ball is a media franchise that needs no introduction. From the flashy, over-the-top fight scenes to the insane transformation power-ups, Dragon Ball is one of the most recognizable and well-known manga and anime series to ever exist. Literally everyone and their mother knows what a Goku is and who a Kamehameha does. I don't really need to go over what it's about and how it rose to fame, as there's plenty of other videos out there that are detailing that kind of information. That's not why I'm here today. No, it's not. That's right. It's time to talk about this game. Developed and published on the PS1 in 1997 by Bandai, Final Bout is a fighting game based on the Dragon Ball GT anime series, which take place years after the end of the original manga's story, which is Dragon Ball Z's ending. It's the first Dragon Ball game to be in full 3D, as well as technically being the first Dragon Ball game with its license still intact to be released in North America. Yeah, there was Dragon Power on the NES, but that had all its Dragon Ball connections severed in its localization, replacing it with some generic Kung Fu motif. Anyways, Final Bout came out right around the time when Dragon Ball Z was first airing on American television, so for them to localize this game before Ultimate Battle 22, which came out 2 years before this in Japan, and was actually set in the DBZ timeline rather than the future GT timeline, is beyond me. Funnily enough, Bandai only made a handful of copies of the game due to Dragon Ball's then obscurity, producing about 10,000 of them. And then around the early mid-2000s, when Dragon Ball's popularity was at its peak, they issued a reprint of the game, this time with new art coinciding with Funimation's English dub release of Dragon Ball GT on American television. The first print of the game is somewhat of a collector's item, going on sale online for at least $30, and that's just the disc itself sometimes. You know, I've had this copy of the game since I was a little kid, and around that time, I thought nothing of the jewel cases that the games would come in. So I'd just throw out the jewel case and just keep the disc itself in a CD storage binder, and sometimes along with the magazine, so, Well, let's get this shit started. When you first boot up the game, you're greeted with a nice looking FMV sequence. Looks pretty good, considering it features an all-new animation made exclusively for the game, showcasing everyone's favorite characters from GT. There's Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Cell, Frieza, Bout? I don't think those are GT characters. So apparently the game is called Dragon Ball Final Bout in the rest of the world, while it's called Dragon Ball GT Final Bout in the United States. The only GT characters we've seen so far is Goku in the intro sequence, with Pan and Trunks showing up later halfway through the intro. Why is there only 3 characters from GT in a game called Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, while everyone else looks like they just got copy and pasted from Dragon Ball Z? Well, if it only makes sense, Bandai America. After the opening, you're greeted with the game's title screen. Now that's a menu theme. There's not much going on the title screen, to be honest. You got the game's logo, the copyright information taking up pretty much half the damn screen, and Goku over on the right just looking at you. Judging you. He's probably thinking, yeah, I can definitely take on this nub. There's also a sound test menu you can check out by pressing the select button. So if you want to hear some of the game's music and sound clips by themselves, you can go on there. Pretty neat feature. The main menu following the title screen is pretty minimalistic, to say the least, but it's pretty easy to follow. There's a block representing each of the modes within the game. You got Battle Mode, Tournament Mode, Options, and Build Up Mode. Okay. Overall, the presentation so far is pretty nice and clear. Everything is organized neatly, and it's fairly easy to navigate around from there. First, let's go ahead and talk a bit about the different types of game modes. Battle Mode lets you and a friend duke it out in a regular one-on-one match, or go against the computer yourself in a standard arcade mode, progressing through stages until you get to the final boss. In Tournament Mode, you and 7 of your friends can compete in a tournament to see who is truly the greatest warrior of the GT Warriors. Oddly enough, there is no AI in this mode at all, making every fighter you pick player-controlled by default. Unless you don't mind doubling up on characters, you might as well just skip this mode if you got less than 8 people total. And then in Build-Up Mode, you get to choose your favorite character and battle it out against the rest of the cast, earning BP, or battle points I think, with each opponent you defeat. It's pretty much just battle mode with an RPG-esque sort of twist to it. You start off at the lowest level of 0 at the lowest block of enemies, and you sort of just work your way up the ranks after beating opponent after opponent. After the last person of the block has been defeated, you move on to the next block, and fight the rest of the cast again, with the addition of an unlockable character each time. And then after that block, you move on to the next block, and the next block, and so on and so forth. And then there's your standard options menu, where you can change the game's settings to your liking, such as changing the difficulty of the CPU, turning off the in-game HUD, and training and practice mode. I kinda question this placement of the practice mode hidden within the options menu. I'm also baffled by the fact that there's the ability to turn off the HUD in a fighting game. Why would you not want to see your health and stamina? That's pretty important.
But how's the gameplay though?
Alright, let's just head on over to the battle mode against the computer, the best place to get a feel for the game. The game has a sizable roster from the get-go, with everyone from the opening FMV making an appearance. There are also some unlockable characters you can get from beating this battle mode, with those including 2 versions of Super Saiyan Goku, 2 versions of Super Saiyan Trunks, Super Vegito, and Super Saiyan Kid Goku. Why is there so many versions of 1 or 2 characters? This game predates the Budokai Tenkaichi games by over half a decade in the amount of different playable versions of a character, having 3 different versions of Trunks and 5 different versions of Goku.
Wow, that's a lot of Gokus.
Oh wait, my mistake, there's actually 6 playable versions of Goku, because if you beat Battle Mode on hard difficulty, you also get to unlock Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Lovely.
Wow, that's a lot of Gokus.
Well, since this is a Dragon Ball game, let's pick Goku. You can never go wrong with the main character.
You look strong. This should be a good fight.
I don't think that's Goku. Apparently, Bandai refused to use the Ocean dub that was working on the Dragon Ball Z anime at the time, for reasons, I guess, and instead go with an uncredited cast.
You jerk! Now there's no one that can beat me at this moment.
So, you're Frieza. You're a real freak.
Was there still a living Namekian?
I won't lose to someone like you!
This is going to be a problem.
You should know more than anyone else that you can't defeat me.
Whoa, what? This voice actor sounds extremely similar to Kyle Herbert, the guy who actually voices adult Gohan these days. Who is this guy? Lex Lang? The Lex Lang? Wait, so you're telling me that Dr. Neo friggin' Cortex is Gohan? This?
You brought out the most of my hidden abilities. Now, I wonder how your techniques will work on me.
Is that?
Surprised to see me, Crash? Like the fleas in your fur, I keep coming back.
Huh. Who would have thunk?
3 years I spent alone in the frozen Antarctic wastes. And I missed you.
Also, Lex plays Goku in the Bang Zoom English dub for Dragon Ball Super in Asia. That's pretty neat.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah!
It's gonna hurt, Krillin.
Yeah!
I mean, it's really, really gonna hurt. Are you ready?
Okay. Alright, Battle 1, here we go. What? Well, this is weird. When I saw that this game was being rendered in full 3D, this is not what I was expecting. Growing up watching the show myself, I thought playing this would be something more along the lines of something like this. But you know, with some added ground mechanics. Also, the voices switched to Japanese in-game. What the fuck? Well, shit, this is awkward. I'm trying to move so I can fight him, but I just can't. I mean, just look at that boy Gohan over there. This man's just flying around, key charging, shooting energy blasts in my face, while I'm over here trying to figure out what the hell I'm even doing. Come on, Goku, I just want to do a Kamehameha. Let me just, please, just, Kame! Oh god, now he's got me in a combo. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant he's got me in a meteor. I can't move, I can't evade it, I can't retaliate with an attack, I'm just stuck. I'm literally pressing every button. I just can't seem to escape this onslaught of... Oh wait, never mind, I think the animation just stopped. Yeah, I died.
I won!
And the voices are back to English. Nice. Okay, this looks and plays absolutely nothing what I imagined. The only thing that's in 3D is the characters and its environments, which aren't that great, let's be honest. Compared to other games at the time like Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha, Soul Blade, and even Tekken 2, which was released a year prior to this, Final Bout looks quite bland to say the least. Like Tekken, the stages are played in an infinite field, with 2D backgrounds that scroll as you move around. But unlike Tekken, the backgrounds are nowhere near as detailed and vibrant, so everything looks kinda dull and almost lifeless. The character models themselves aren't too terrible. They're actually pretty close to what they should look like from the show, so that's okay. Though despite having all these 3D characters and environments, the game plays more like a traditional 2D fighter of the era. You got your standard health meter and stamina meter. One depletes as you get hit, and the other depletes as you use energy blasts. You also got your regular movement. Forward, backwards, crouch, and jump. And you also get a regular punch, kick, block, and key blast button that are pretty much a standard for Dragon Ball games now. Square for punch, circle for kick, X to block, and triangle for energy blast attacks. Should be relatively simple enough to grasp, right? Well... the controls in this game aren't great at all. The movement seems so slow depending on who you're using. Like, if you're using someone like Trunks, you'll get a prance of some kind. But if you're using someone like Frieza, it's more like a Tuesday afternoon stroll to the local park. And don't get me started with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. If you wanted to dash forward, one would think that you'd have to double tap forward and you'll just dash forward like in any other fighting game. But when you do it, nothing really happens. You just walk still. See, this game says to hell with the controls of the fighting games of yore. Instead, this game opts to have a dedicated button for it, in which you have to press and hold either the L1 or the R1 buttons and use the D-pad to dash across the screen. And due to this feature, the buttons also double up as a flight button, letting you take flight or descend from flight if you press up or down on the D-pad while holding L1 or R1. I mean, I get why it has to be a separate button for flying in the air and stuff, but why do I have to press and hold it just to dash forward and backwards? Okay, maybe I just picked the wrong character. Maybe Goku was just a thing of the past. Maybe a new hero has come to take his place, like... Little Goku. Yeah, okay. Alright, Gohan, do your worst. Okay, so the movement is not the only thing that's busted in this game. There's like a couple of seconds of delay on anything and everything that you do. Be it on the D-pad, to move left or right, or even just pressing the circle button to do a simple kick. And half the time, nothing even comes out. it's hard to just get my character to do anything I want. This is quite maddening, considering that this game has motions in it, and I'm not talking about motion controls. This game incorporates motions to perform different kinds of special attacks a character can do, akin to the likes of Street Fighter and Fatal Fury. When you perform a motion and press any attack button at the end of it, you get a special move. Most of the motion inputs can be described in relation to a circle, with either quarter circles, half circles, and full 360s. There are other more obscure motions that some special moves can have, such as charging or holding, back forwards, forward backs, double taps, and the ridiculous motions that is the King of Fighters. Like seriously, what the fuck? All of a character's special moves are designated to a specific combination of motions and buttons. Some moves won't be the same. A combination of different buttons and different attacks yield different results. And just like those other fighting games with motions, Final Bout is no exception. Except it is. Unlike other fighters where the timing of the input of a motion attack is a bit strict, the motions in this game aren't too strict of the timing of the input, meaning that you don't have to do it in one smooth motion. Well, in theory, since this game has a small input delay on things, you can just input the directional buttons one at a time and still be able to perform a special move with it. But, since there is this input delay, sometimes anything you do happens to come out later than you would think, or not come out at all. Trying to do these attacks is actually really difficult. Trying to get a punch to register takes some time, but trying to do it with the motion takes even longer, as you try to wrestle with these underwater controls. In addition, this game has two types of special moves, normal special attacks and energy special attacks. Normal special attacks consist of your standard punch and kick combinations. Some are more simple than others, usually with a generic elbow or wank kick attack, but still more special than just doing this over and over. The trick with using the normal specials is that you can cancel them into each other. This means that you can input another normal special attack right in the middle of the animation of the normal special attack you're already doing. I'm not quite sure if you can cancel them into different normal specials, as I've only ever cancelled specials into themselves, but it's still something to note. This can actually lead to pseudo-infinite horseshit like this. And that can be some horseshit, especially since the computer can easily do these special moves while you're trying to figure out how to fucking fly, leaving you at a disadvantage, and on the ground, dead. As for the key special attacks, unlike the normal special moves that need you to be right in front of the opponent's face to land them, these moves let you hit them from afar, with, you guessed it, key blasts. Just like normal special attacks before, these can be performed by inputting a motion just before pressing the key button. Each character has their own special variation of the ranged energy attacks, taking on the form of beams, balls, and all that other jazz. Goku has the Kamehameha, Vegeta's got Big Bang Attack, and Piccolo has his... Yeah, that. As stated before, the normal press of the key blast button, triangle, gives you a generic energy shot. Depending on your character, quarter circle forward gives you a generic kind of energy attack, either a spread shot or a repeat shot of some kind. With that, each character also has two very special energy attacks, with each attack being assigned to the half circle forward motion and the down back forward motion respectively. They function as projectile attacks like in any other fighter, for the most part. Unfortunately, I think you're better off not bothering with them at all. If Key Blast Special is thrown out from a close range, whoever did the attack will be put in an immovable state, as the move itself has a big wind-up and large recovery time afterwards. So there's a lot of time for the other guy to react by flying over it and retaliating with their own Key Blast, a normal special, or even just a simple jab. And if someone does it from across the screen, the game goes into an in-game cinematic with the camera focusing on the one performing the attack, watching them charge up the attack before unleashing it on the opponent. Once the cutscene is triggered, neither person can move. You can't move during the build-up, and you can't move after they throw out the attack. You can't dodge it, so you just kinda have to sit there and watch as your character, paralyzed in fear of their imminent doom. Not to mention, if you do use any sort of Key Blast attack to begin with, you use up your stamina meter, which lies below your health meter, and when that runs out, be prepared to just look like you ate 3 Big Macs before running a marathon, because you'll be a sitting duck for at least a full 5 seconds before you can move again. Though you could recover your stamina by pressing the square and X button together at the same time to key charge, though why even bother when you can just do normal specials all day long? And, oh yeah, the only time where you can actually do anything to respond to those cutscene beam attacks is when a little text box saying counter pops up on the corner of the screen for like half a second. If you press a certain button at that right time before the word disappears, you can either block it, deflect it back, or even do your own special attack to do a beam struggle, you know, like in the anime. But, unfortunately, since there's no indication of the exact timing of the button press, and that the controls are so unresponsive at times, you can almost never do it, so you just end up eating shit. Alright, you know what? Maybe it's the character I'm playing as. Maybe if I switch over to Gohan, I'll be able to do something. After all, he's the one who did save the world from Cell. Yeah, remember when Gohan used all that anguish built up from losing his dad and Android 16 to repeatedly knee Cell in the dick? I remember. As it turns out, you don't even really need to play the game to beat it. See, I forgot to mention, the attack buttons differ depending on how far you are from the opponent. For example, at close range, Gohan's kick attack is just your run-of-the-mill standard kick. Nothing special. However, at a far enough range, his kick becomes a lunging knee attack. Not only does this move allow Gohan to move forward as he knees the opponent, but the move has this hit stun that gives enough time for Gohan to follow up with another move, or seemingly follow up with itself. So in essence, you could just pick Gohan and lame it out by pressing circle the whole damn round. I mean, just look at this. Look at this! It's beautiful. This strategy is so effective that it even works in build-up mode, where you can just use this cheese to win every single encounter. It doesn't even matter what level your opponent is. It works almost 85, if not 90% of the time. Look at this level 10 CPU. Sure, it's not doing much damage, but the fact that he keeps eating it speaks volumes. He can't escape from this crossing fate. There's literally nothing he can do to stop me. I could have just sat there and pressed circle over and over again until my thumb went numb. The only thing that actually ended up stopping me was me not giving a damn. So after kicking the shit out of everybody in battle mode with this stupid ass tech, it's time to face the final boss. With a character lineup like this ought to be interesting.
You were too overconfident. Let me show you to your defeat!
Oh my, Super Baby? And it's the golden grade 8 form. That's pretty cool. Wait a sec. If he's the grade 8 form, doesn't that mean... Oh my Buddha, what the hell is this shit? Oh my god, he's so fucking huge. Oh my god, this motherfucker's big ass kneecaps take up almost half the goddamn screen by itself. How the hell am I even supposed to defeat an opponent of this stature? So in conclusion, Final Bout is definitely a first for the Dragon Ball games. The first Dragon Ball game to be fully rendered in 3D, and the first Dragon Ball game to be localized with the license still intact in North America. But despite that, is it any good? No, not really. Bland environments, only a couple of game modes, and awful controls make this game feel more like a chore than anything to sit through and play through. The only thing that I actually really liked was the music, but it's really not enough to save the game for me. If you want to play something that's really close to feeling like a Dragon Ball game on the PS1, you might want to try either Psychic Force or Evil Zone. Both are easier to pick up and play, and have just enough of that anime flair to make it feel like it's almost Dragon Ball. Especially Psychic Force. However, if you want something more closer to a traditional fighter in 3D, play literally anything else. Also, I forgot to mention that if you wanted to save your data in this game, you can't! It only lets you save shit for that build-up mode, but not the unlockable characters that you, unlock. So fuck. Well, that's over. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's the first time I've ever done something like this, so sorry if things feel a bit off. I'm getting used to it. Let me know what you thought about this video down in the comments below. because I plan to do a little bit more of these kind of things in the future, so yeah, it'll definitely help me out. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!